Salam. Why end of the year 2065 is important for the Jews, Christians, Muslims, and all of humanity. 6,000 years Jewish calendar ends in 2063 CE according to lunar calendar. 3 days and 3 nights ends in 2065 CE since Jesus Christ is in the second paradise. 1,500 years lifespan of Prophet Muhammad's community ends in the beginning of 2066 CE. Let's start with Jews. Messiah should come 6,000 years period according to Jewish belief. But since Jesus the King Messiah came, prophecy became, the King Messiah will not come during the 6,000 years period. 6,000 years period started at the year 3761 BC. When does it end? To calculate that you should know divine year. Is it solar or lunar year? According to Islamic tradition, Al-Hali calculation is made according to lunar year and Jews also used it in the past. If we go with this assumption, 6,000 years ends. 1 solar year equals 365.242. 1 lunar year equals 354.367. 6,000 lunar years equals 5,821 solar years and 4 months. If we add it to the beginning of the calendar we could find the end time. 5,821 plus minus 3,761 equals year 2060 CE. Because of 4-month remaining and calendar beginning, 1 year correction should be added. There are 2 lost years from BC to AC. Because calendar is jumping from 1 BC to 1 AC. If we add them we found 2063 CE. If the 6,000 years calendar starting time is true, the King Messiah should come after the year 2063, but calendar beginning time is not solid reality and could have been made mistake during the long time period. According to my calculation, 6,000 years calendar started in the year 3759 BC and end in the year 2065 CE. But 2063 CE is also meaningful because apocalypse will be started at this year. Let's go to Christians. Before the calculation, we should know some date about Jesus. According to my calculations, Jesus Christ born in July 3, 5 before Christ. He lived in Egypt until 6 CE. He came back for census made by Rome. And he left earth in July 8, 28 CE while he was 33 years old. Jesus said to disciples, I will be here after 3 days and 3 nights. My theory is that he is talking about his second coming. If we know the length of his days and nights, we could calculate the return time. In the Quran 1 day refers to 1,000 years and 50,000 years simultaneously. So, time also in the heaven is very relative. But we have additional cryptic information about the time in heaven and paradise. But since the concept of relativity is new for mankind, old people used this term as distance. For example, when a Jew saying that the distance between heaven and earth is 500 years, it does not mean that after 500 years human walk or horse run or even light speeds bring you to end of the sky. We should understand that as time relativity difference between earth and sky. Let's assume relativity of the heaven as 500 years with respect to 1 earthly day. If we multiply it with the number of days, we find 500 years times 3 days equals 1,500 years. Since it is lunar year, it equals 1,455 solar years. If we add this to Jesus leaving time we find it something as year 1,483. Nice try but failed. But if you go to Islamic tradition you could find something like that. When Muhammad ascended on his celestial journey, the Miraj, to the highest heaven he passed Jesus in the second heaven, other traditions say he is in the 3rd or 4th stage in heaven. He said, then Gabriel took me and ascended up till he reached the 2nd heaven. When we reached over the 2nd heaven, I saw Yahya, John, and Jesus who were cousins. Gabriel said, these are Yahya and Jesus, so greet them. I greeted them and they returned the greeting saying, welcome, O pious brother and pious prophet. So, Jesus passed first sky and first paradise and entered the second paradise. What is relative time in the second paradise? Paradise is 100 levels, between each level and the next is the distance of 100 years, and the Firdaus is the highest of them in degree, and from it the 4 rivers, of paradise, emerge. And the throne is above it. So, when you ask Allah, ask Him for Al-Firdaus. With this information, we can drive this, from earth to heaven 500 years and 200 years from second paradise, which means 700 years as total. If we put them in our calculation, 3 days times 700 lunar years equals 2100 lunar years. If we change it to solar year equals 2037.5 years. If we add this time to Jesus leaving time, we could get the returning time. Jesus left the earth on July 28 CE. When you add them, 2037.5 years plus 28.5 years equals end of 2065 or beginning of 2066 Common Era. As much as accuracy on the leaving time, as much as true result could be found. Exact date is not great deal. Because in the middle of the year of 2064 CE, our calendar system will be collapse. System could run only by calculation and not observation. Earth will be upside down. Summers will be winters. Let's come back our calculation. Do we find anything according to Islamic tradition which is related with this time? Quote, the life of my Ummah will not exceed the year 1500. Did Prophet Muhammad prophesied end time with this? Actually no. Because no one know the hour. Not angels in heaven, nor Prophet Muhammad, only Almighty God alone. So, how could we understand the statement? Most probably it means what it means. His Ummah, community will be ended in 1500 years and a new community will be started. If Muhammad is the last prophet, which community could be mentioned? Only one solution: when Jesus return, remnant of the humanity will be Jesus' community. From this we could drive the time of Jesus' return. We can say that Prophet Muhammad's community started with revelation. Let's say August 25, 610 CE, which means 610.73. 1500 lunar year is equal 1455.34 solar years. If we add them, we found as January 2066 CE. All Jews and Christians will be Muslims. But after that time, Muslims will be counted as Jesus' sheep. Almost every calculation addressing the year of 2060s. Sir Isaac Newton also addressed same date. My favorite date for Jesus' return is December 29, 2065 CE. Further apocalyptic calculation will be made according to this date. As you must know, God willing. And you know, God know best.